1, 2. Hey. Sure.
Take 3, that looks good. Coming to you. Ready 3, and take 2. On 2. 2, you're live.
Jackass!
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for another Showtech show. Tonight is March 1st, 2015. We had a hell of a pre-show. Sorry about that, Jordan.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you, though, my friend.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you
man.
for being out here and joining us. Go ahead and put yourself on the camera so we can see your smiling mug.
Yeah, that's my birthday. I'm turning 33 years old. 32 years young.
Ladies,
so,
if any eligible
still single
bachelorettes in the
so,
audience
hey,
watching us tonight.
Hello.
Tonight, we're going to be talking about how to get paid in this industry. If you're a show techie, if you're a part-time or freelancer, full-time wannabe, we're going to give you some great tips on make sure how that paycheck comes into your bank account. Also, later on in the show, talk about some things you might want to watch out for, some scams to avoid. I think we've all got something to say about those.
Do we have scams?
I'm sure I've got a few on deck. Scamalicious.
AMS.
Also, we've got a new segment tonight, the job board. Some interesting look around the jobs that are up for grabs out there in the industry, in the local region, as well as around the country. I'm excited to bring that one to you guys. I think that's going to be a useful thing coming up. But first, we're going to take a look around the news this week in a little segment we like to call Next. Next! You know what? Before we jump right into the next segment, let's. How's everybody doing? let's take a little breather.
This
is too upbeat for me. I need a break.
Like we basically started, from I don't know why that is off. So we basically started like we're ready, we're set. Like I came here, I came out here at 6 o'clock, ready to go, and I was programming all my stuff,
early
just so I can get a good. Because of the last 2 weeks, I've had little screw ups with this and everything. So I basically came here and I was like, I'm gonna set my shortcut keys, make this a little bit easier so I can mess around with, and the program crashed like 20 minutes before we go on.
And then it just all went downhill.
And then I'm like, okay, now try to get everything back together and stuff like that, get my shortcut keys. So luckily we're kind of getting back to normal.
Yeah, I think it's a decent watchable show at this point. It seems to be working.
Well, at least we're still streaming and recording.
We're technically streaming. Oh, that's another wonderful thing. Yeah, if the software works, if the computer system doesn't completely self-destruct, the internet here has been kind of crappy lately, so we don't know what we're gonna get.
So I'm actually watching the I'm watching the stream connection right now, constantly make sure that we're still good to go.
So Eagle Eye, watching the stream link. Okay, that's good. Yeah, we've supposedly got fiber optic connection coming to the studio here on Monday, but that comes through AT&T, and we all know how great AT&T is. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think
that's my best solution. We'll talk about net neutrality later on in the next segment.
I think we can guarantee that AT&T is not going to be sponsoring this right now.
Oh, no. AT&T and Lone Star have a long and ugly relationship. They have always been the bane of my existence. Unfortunately, as things often go in the internet service provider industry, they are my only lifeline out here in Roanoke, except for the wonderful wireless internet provider I've been using for the longest time, who doesn't seem to know how their own equipment works. So therefore, we were forced to go to AT&T. Luckily, though, I found a great provider called DSL Extreme. They're a California-based company, I believe, and they actually buy the AT&T bandwidth bulk and resell it to me cheaper and with no bandwidth limitations, which is nice because AT&T is a piece of crap. Don't mind saying so. Anyway, like I said, more on the whole FCC net neutrality decision later and what that means for our good friends out at Ma Bell. But up next, we're going to be in the next segment. You don't have to do the bumper again because we already,
I took away the loop. So.
Did you fix the loop?
Yeah, I did.
You might want to fix that for the rest of the bumpers in the show, just as a little heads up. So I'll start off with one of my stories just to give Jordan a little time to work the board there. But weather, wow, we've had some crazy weather up here in North Texas lately.
It's
insane.
Been
snowing. I mean, just the fact that we get anything below 90 degrees is pretty much insane. But it's been protracted, long bit of ice and snow and wintry mix, and we're in a little bit of a down period now, but I hear we've got some more coming, so
it was so bad. I had a hazer in the show that I was teching this past week, and it was out in my warehouse, which has no heat. Took it out there, plugged it in, turned it on. The haze shot up, and then went straight down to the floor. Low-lying fog everywhere. I'm like,
well, that's not very. Just shoot some lasers at it. It'll be fine.
We still proceeded to set off the fire alarm in the building.
Of course. Although
We
the
figured
smoke
out that
couldn't
the-
make it above 2 feet off the ground, let's call the department.
We figured out that the Dallas Fire Department, while as experienced as they are, has a 14-minute response time to Fair Park. So do not cause a real fire.
You know. Well, I wanted to use the weather story just as a opportunity to talk to you gents. Maybe start the show off at a little bit slower pace. What's the craziest weather you've ever had to deal with in a show production situation?
Oh, God.
I know there's got to be some good war stories out there. What have you guys
Well,
put up with?
for me, I did a lot of shows up in Rhode Island, and one of the theaters that we worked at, the Sandra Feinstein GAM Theater, now called the GAM Theater. Back in the day that I was there, it was in a garage.
Hey, man, everybody starts somewhere.
It's in a garage.
Microsoft, read
Yeah.
your Bible.
That heater worked so great. No.
I bet your heater worked better than our air conditioner.
So
Texas.
it was always a crapshoot up there whether the show was going to happen or not, depending on how cold it got. Because if it got below like 20 degrees,
Your hazers
There
just became foggers.
there was no use in even going there. You were going
Yeah.
to freeze your
God, yeah.
those off. Yeah.
I worked at Geek and News when I first got started. I guess it's not uncommon, really, because it wasn't a bad station. But so all the transmitter equipment in Texas has to be kept in almost subarctic conditions to keep those big, heavy, high voltage systems running without a kink.
That's why you see the big containers of liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, these people took the air conditioning system seriously. Unfortunately, they also put their video edit bays in the transmitter room. Which
Yes.
meant when I went in to go edit the morning news at 2 a.m. in the morning, I had to do so in winter gear because it was all of 30 degrees inside that building. Ridiculous. But that's my only real cold story I think I have. The other thing I wanted to talk about was I think we did a South by Southwest a few years back. In the driving rain, we did the setup. I think the whole show was Video World lived in a trailer out in the back lot of some music gig we were shooting. But man, like we were running cables and standing water, like basically floating the video lines across to the venue. It was horrible. Like it was full on drowned rat conditions. And I just didn't think that was even safe or prudent, but we made it happen.
All three of us did a Johnny High show a few years back, and if you remember, we had that big storm
Oh yeah.
Bro.
that happened during the middle
Is that
of
the tornado
like all
one?
the well, we had the ice, we had HDMC1 was sitting out in an ice bowl through the whole thing. All of those HDMI lines froze, and that's why he was having all that problem. Problem with
Where's all this dropout coming?
what do you think it is? Well, you kind of cracked 3 wires, buddy.
It takes it to a whole new level when you you can have your S really together, but when you take it to those kind of extreme weather conditions, you really have to do
yeah.
some next level engineering. To
Down
make it
here
happen.
in Texas, none of us are used to that.
No,
None
yeah,
of-
we
no-
totally. I mean, it's pretty desert-like conditions most. I mean, not
go-
even desert-like. It's
you
just
go
generally
to-
temperate.
You go to Providence, you go to Cleveland, Vancouver, any of these places, they're used to it. They figure out ways to make this. We come rolling in, and all heck is breaking loose.
You can hear the banjo music.
Did they play banjo music when we show up? I always
I
thought.
always have it going in my head 24/7.
I
Well, looks like you boys gonna need a video show. Let me. Oh,
thought it was more along the lines of like some sort of Confederate music.
it's a little. Oh my! All right, so that's enough about the weather this week. I'll go ahead and call it, Jordan, if you're ready for the whole next.
Call it. Call it.
Audible.
Call
sigh.
I still gotta get this
What a jackass.
It's like every week. I love it. Yeah.
Okay, we said that you were going to get away with it until this week.
Yep.
All right. So next up in the news segment, Jordan, tell us about the Alexa Mini.
Okay.
Do you have that one teed up for us?
There, my mic's back on. I'm sorry. I was working on numerous things. Somebody in the chat said the audio's a little low, so I'm trying to work on that while queuing other things at the same time. So, yeah, Scott's getting mad at me right now. Scott's looking at me deathly like right now. Yeah, the new Alexa. It's interesting. It's a new
you come undone again?
camera. That it's very compact, lightweight, but it's really kick ass.
Do you have a picture of it, Jordan?
Yeah, sorry, I'm doing multiple things at one time here. Give me a freaking
We are giving this
break.
guy a beating for his
I
birthday.
know.
It's
So,
awesome.
Happy birthday, Jordan.
Look at that.
Hello, little guy.
It looks like a
How you
red,
doing?
Camera, stuff like that. So it's pretty kick-ass, if you agree with that.
Wireless?
Very versatile.
I see it's got a dongle.
Yeah, it's got a dongle.
Yeah, so it has like a solid titanium. I'm just reading some new stuff on their website right now as we're doing this. Come on.
It's good television.
ProRes up to 200 frames per second. Wow.
ProRes. So you're talking in 1080p?
Uncompressed use, yeah. 200 frames, 1080p. I think it's 1080p. It does their uncompressed RAW file of up to 30 frames per second.
Cool.
It shows some pictures.
What
on
is
here.
its send speed wireless?
I don't know. I'm trying to look on that right now.
What's the f-stop on that lens we're looking at?
I don't know.
What's the weight of the camera body?
I just get like totally.
Tell me about the
like,
battery accessories.
I'm trying to find tech specs. But
Is it carbon fiber based or is
it's
it metal?
all this new like how people do their websites now is like where we have to scroll down like for a mile.
Okay,
just
put me
in
back
order
on camera.
to-
Put me back on camera.
Just in order to read something like that.
So
But
instead
I
of
don't
reading
wanna
ahead
look
of
at you.
time, Jordan decided to give us a story that he was going to put a picture of a camera on the
It's my
screen.
birthday.
And then, okay, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. You're good.
I'm
But I'm
gonna
going
put
to
a
give you the next.
picture on the screen of something I know nothing
And then I'm
about.
panicked going to
finally-
read the website as
All
fast
right.
as I can. It says here it's a great deal and you
It's
should
a-
buy me.
It's a camera.
So
They
yeah.
accept credit cards.
All right,
Dun-dun,
so-
dun,
No,
dun, dun,
finally-
dun.
Good looking little camera. I'm sure we'll hear more about it in the future.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that very informative segment. Next.
Next!
Oh my.
Okay. Continue on.
Let me just check my notes. So I want to talk about MLB Advanced Media. This is the Major League Baseball's streaming unit that does all their online streaming video distribution. They've exceeded their mandate. They have gotten so big and popular, they're actually spinning off into their own business unit. They're no longer going to be a sub-business of the
I pay for it.
MLB Online. Yeah, a lot of people do. If you're, especially the cord cutters out there who might be fans of the Lone Star, but people
I'm
in
a
general, yeah. You,
Huge baseball fan. I pay for it every year.
How great
MLB
is
TV is and it's great because I can be at shows, watch it on my phone, watch it on my iPad.
And I think that's probably a big story this year is streaming media has really come into its own. I know you probably hear that every year from streaming media interests like ours, but with the FCC decision that we're going to talk about in a little bit, and then stories like this, streaming TV is no longer a niche product. It's now something that's really come into its own.
Well, it's like there's the WWE network that they're streaming on different Apple devices and Xbox and stuff like that. It's
Like an era.
done through there.
Yeah, it's. I think that more and more we're seeing that traditional over-the-air and cable-delivered broadcast television is just.
It's getting to that point though. Like I got annoyed the other day with CBS.
Really?
Yeah.
You're such a calm, cool fella.
Yeah, I know. I went on my phone, my iPhone, to watch Survivor
Ta-da.
from the other night, the opening Survivor. And because I'm with Time Warner Cable, they wanted me to pay an extra amount of money to watch Survivor on my phone. Now I could go into my other room and watch it on my Mac in my other bedroom, but they wanted me to pay extra to watch it on my phone.
Well,
CBS,
Don't be greedy, Scott.
CBS, you suck. There you go. You suck.
yeah. Who is that? Is that CBS or is that Time Warner?
It's
Who's-
CBS
is-
doing
okay.
it. It's not Time Warner. And the fight between CBS and Time Warner has gotten so bad that you can't even log on to CBS if you when they were having their negotiation fight. You couldn't even log into CBS.com if you were using Time Warner Cable, which. That will delve into the FCC regulations later on because it will no longer be legal to block.
I can't imagine that was ever even legal. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of that mess, and I think that the old media days are behind us now officially. We're moving into the 21st century in a serious way, and Lord, I cannot wait because it's getting ridiculous. So, next.
Thank you.
Fast one.
Wow.
What?
I love
no,
Whoa!
No, it's like the next things are not playing. So I'm hitting the cut transition, but they're not playing.
You are the best engineer I think we've ever had here.
Thank you.
Let me do a little on-air troubleshooting with friend Jordan. If you right-click on that bumper,
Yeah.
one of the options in the playback section says "Remember position."
Okay.
Uncheck that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
There we go. Okay.
Where do we find these people?
It's like
We had this. This was all next.
Hey.
This was all teed up. I got to tell him, and the software crashing just kind of. Yeah, CBS and AT&T probably not going to be sponsors anytime in the near future.
Thanks, jackass.
That's fine with me, honestly. I mean, not that I don't love
Gosh.
millions of dollars, but I wouldn't allow people like that to sponsor on this network. It's one thing I do pledge going for as our
That Bar Harbor will become one of our sponsors.
the Bar Harbor Brewing Company. You're welcome to broadcast on our station anytime. But yeah, we're not going to allow, no matter how deep their pockets are, I'm not going to allow people that we don't believe in at some level to advertise.
Crappy products are crappy products.
Yeah, I'm not gonna besmirch my name by pushing some garbage like AT&T or the corporate broadcasting system.
Well,
So the next
thank
story,
you for having a spine.
That's
Hey,
what I do.
I just like to point out that camera, whoever asked for the weight, it's 5 pounds.
5 pounds on the Alexa Mini. Look for it coming out. When is it?
Did you tell us what the housing was made out of?
5? No.
Yeah, you did.
Sorry.
No, it was like
you have to
titanium
come
or
back on
something,
that.
right?
You have
Was
to-
it? Oh, we will.
Yeah, it was like a
How about the speed
military
of the
strength
wireless?
aluminum rods. Yeah, go back.
Yeah. Oh, right. Bye.
Oh my God, you all sound high. I don't
hell,
know. There's
man?
like
What the hell type of show are you
there's like
running here?
aluminum
I'm
rods.
not touching the board, and it's all of a sudden just fluctuating in loudness.
Well,
So we'll take investments.
I don't know.
Investments for the show.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll talk about the sponsorship opportunities coming up later.
Yeah,
So
please,
anyway, now that
please
our-
donate because we need about $4,000 for
Well,
new
should
computers
please.
because the one that he made sucks.
Reach into your pocket and give deeply. So now that all of our credibility is completely shot, let's talk about this net neutrality decision that came down this week.
Isn't that awesome?
I'm kind of a fan. I've been getting a lot of requests to give me my feedback on this issue, and I would say there's pros and there's cons, for sure.
There's pros and cons to everything, but tell us what you think.
My thoughts are that this is a necessary evil.
Yes.
Having the government involved in regulating the cable monopolies that decide what the state of the American internet is, we have to do that. It's going to open up a can of worms because now the FCC is totally allowed to regulate the internet. That's not good. That's a bad thing. That means your free speech is never going to be free again. That means they can decide what is salient, what's allowed to pass along the public internet again. It
means no more porn.
Possibly.
Yeah.
They've discovered a way to insert themselves into the conversation once again, using a piece of congressional legislation that was passed in 1934. That is what is regulating the global internet in the United States of America at this time. It's good because now we don't have...
What year was that?
34. Telecommunications Act 34. The idea is that...
Did you know the internet wasn't around then?
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Wow! That is some interesting...
These fools have been using that piece of legislation to insert themselves into the conversation on every technology since radio, through television, into cable television, things that they really have no business overseeing as the Federal Communications Commission. The FCC was founded because broadcasters, radio broadcasters back in the day, were using the public airwaves, something that was a public good and was a finite resource that had to be managed so that anybody could have any value for it. So, as representatives of the people, the executive branch enacted the FCC to go out and police that and make sure that nobody was doing bad things. Pirates weren't filling the broadcast spectrum with noise, making legitimate uses, military uses, public safety needs, making those irrelevant. So there was a legitimate need for an organization like the FCC. Then cable television came along, where there was no broadcasting being done whatsoever. And every communication was going through privately owned copper cables run through the ground.
Yes.
But they did find a backdoor. And that's why you have that's why you have the FCC regulating what can be put on the air and what can be said on cable television that never goes into the public airspace. And the problem was this darn internet came along and it wasn't that. And everything was moving to the internet, and the FCC was just going to be irrelevant if all media went to that.
Not to interrupt, but this is really kind of important for things like Showtech Show. And we are now under the new laws when the new laws are written. Right now, all they've done is given permission for the FCC to write laws for, that we have to adhere to. But even Showtech Show will change. There will be no more swearing on anything that's streamed unless there's the nice little MA over in the upper right-hand corner.
Does that include on internet streams?
See, I do believe that's where it's going to, that's what this is set up for, is so that the FCC can regulate just the same as they do on the broadcast. The straw man here is
we're going to keep the big bad cable monopolies from abusing your rights. What's really happening here is now the federal government can control all media, just the way they want it. I, for one, am not going to
I'm all
kowtow
about
to
becoming Russia.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's a great deal, right? No, I
They
mean,
get free bread.
Putin's my man.
as long as we're allowed to, we will broadcast on the air and do whatever we want.
I will say my fuck damn shit whenever I want until they start finding me.
George Carlin would be proud. Yeah, I'm going to resist that. I mean, I'm nobody, but I think it's important that as long as the media exists, there needs to be somebody who can speak truth to power, unfettered by regulation. There needs, and especially since this
Apple
isn't
product.
being pushed over. Yeah, there you go.
We love Apple.
I do.
I really feel like we're going off the rails with this one, but anyway,
we are. But I think it's important. I think this is one of the most important subjects that you've brought up over the past 3 weeks because of the fact that it will directly affect us, and it will directly affect anyone else who comes up with an idea for a show or something like that. Now, it's going to protect us from the Time Warner cables who have direct ownership of the Irving Las Colinas area. You cannot get anything but Time Warner Cable or AT&T in that area. And it's going to stop that from happening.
And also like the apartment complexes where they only have, Charter and whatever. I mean, name dropping, but
these apartment complexes are taking money from Time Warner Cable or Comcast to not put other things in. And that it's going to stop that. It's going to open AT&T up to being able to go into my apartment complex.
It could. That's the issue. We've railed on the government side of this enough. Now let's be complainers about the corporate side of that. And that's really what the move this week moved to change is the fact that we have de facto monopolies in much of the country right now. You just simply don't have a choice. That's what the beauty of capitalism is. The free market usually determines...
Hold on, you say the beauty of capital... God, here we go.
Well, it's almost coming like... It's
not a capitalist,
it's turning to be regulated, where we can basically, like how electricity is regulated, we can watch, we can do our own... choose our own electricity company, and that's I can go to anywhere I want to and choose who I want to do electricity. I would like that option to be with internet. I don't like to go to my apartment complex and you only have 2 choices. I'm not happy with my 2 choices. I want to have the person I've had successful business with.
So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What was the last big monopoly that the United States government dissolved?
That'd be the big telephone system.
Telephone line system.
Ma Bell. Ma Bell was the last large company that was monopolizing to be dismantled by the U.S. government. Now, look at Time Warner Cable. Time Warner Cable is over 400 times larger and making over $400 billion a year doing what they do by monopolizing the media and internet.
Well, now to be fair, I don't think that the decision this week to change their classification directly addresses that. There's no guarantee that that's going to change.
No, and that may not change. For there to be change in America, you have to change the way that we think. And that takes me back to, we have tons of monopolies in America. There are tons of them. ExxonMobil owns almost 80% of the refineries in America.
So, well, yeah, I see what you're saying there. Just because
we as a government don't try to fix that. This is the first step in trying to fix them.
I guess that's my secret fear to this whole evolution, is that we aren't really going to see anything to break up the monopolies, because this decision doesn't really do that. All it does is insert some ability to have some say in how these people manage their networks, but it doesn't do anything to break up the monopolies. It doesn't do anything to give you more choice. Next week, I'm not going to have another provider I can choose to bring internet service to this facility. So that doesn't really
So
change.
if you guys are only getting this show like every 5 minutes, please call AT&T.
We've already demonstrated that's fruitless. But I don't know. I guess I'll stop. I'll end this, but I don't want to go on this topic forever. But I'll end this by saying, where once we had corporate profiteering leading the way to internet development in this country, now we have government regulation leading the way. So although the technological networking capabilities may be there, now that freedom of content that you might put over that technology is in question.
I think you really need to sit back and think about what you just said there, because the internet was brought to us by Al Gore. So
That's true. It can't be all bad.
this
the government
has been
invented
a
the
government thing from the beginning.
That's
Well,
true.
it started from the government with the army.
Al Gore.
Well, yeah, but with them communicating
Al Gore.
Al Gore.
Yeah, they were talking Al Gore.
next.
Next. All right. Fair enough. Wah, 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 wah.
Never talk politics with technicians.
Yeah, I know. I really, there's so much I could say about this, but I've had so little sleep today, and I just
He knows just
It's
not to mess with
almost-
me today.
it's bad for him. So the dress, I wanted to talk about that. Has anybody seen that on their Facebook feed? It was kind of obscure there. You might have had to dig a little bit
All
to
right.
see anything about this.
First off, I don't want to talk about the dress.
I want you to talk about it specifically.
Damn you, bastard!
That's the reason I brought it up. Jordan, see if you can bring this up on the screen while we're talking about it. But everybody knows the story behind this. Oh, well, there it is behind us. This particular image came out, and depending on I still see it as white and gold.
I see blue and black right now.
Currently, right now, that's hilarious. We're looking at this across multiple screens and multiple different lighting
Same
situations.
picture, and I see blue and black.
But this is all just a peculiar twerk of optical science that different people will see different
Trickerism.
things. Yes, it's an optical illusion. Technically, I suppose this dress is supposed to be blue and black, which is stupid.
It is.
It is white and gold.
All right, good.
So everyone knows it's white and
Well,
gold.
at least the video director sees it right, so that's
Thank
one
you.
thing going for you tonight, Jordan. But anyway, Scott, I wanted to talk about this in terms of visual science. As a lighting director, what does that do to you, thinking that you're doing your best to light a show, to pick out all the particular color gamut, and there's going to be a percentage of your audience who just might not see the same thing your eyes see.
Mm-hmm.
How
And it
crazy
happens
is
all
that?
the time.
Does it really?
It
Okay.
really does, because everyone's eyes are different. You got people that are colorblind, you got people that are not. This right here, this picture that I'm looking at, if you notice, the backlight is 100 times higher transmission than the front light. That's what's causing it to blue out on the front. Any technician should know this, because this is the normal thing of what happens
Who
when
shot
you
this? You're fired.
when you
Fired.
beef up the backlight. Guess what? Everything in front of it's going to turn the other colors of the spectrum. Light. That's not actually white light, people. That's every color in the spectrum. The white is every color in the spectrum. The blue is the removal of colors. And because of the high content of white behind, you're taking the reds and the infrareds out. There you go. I've done my part.
That's a sign. I just thought that was fascinating. I mean, obviously, I'm doing a little bit of link baiting here by talking about the dress in our show, but I mean, I just found that amazing. I thought this was such a scam when I was like,
I thought it was the silliest thing in the world, but then I sat back and I was like, I do this for a living. I look at things, I look at things in red, blue, and green, where everyone else looks at it in red, blue, and yellow. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing is, who can you trust? So I guess the answer is no one's right. So I'll say next.
It's black.
Oh crap!
It's
this
black.
Is the director. Next. I saw blue and black. I know what you're talking about.
Black.
So the last thing I guess I've got lined up are
That's it? Already?
Yeah, for next.
What the hell?
We're like an hour in and we've only done the news. So I saw some funny digital signage fails on the internet today, and I thought Jordan could maybe bring up some pictures of those as we're chatting. But these are hilarious to me because there's some great examples of big show signs obviously running on Windows XP and crashing. And I thought we'd be able to talk about this from such a high horse tonight, but apparently we're not above computer crashes ourselves here at the Lone Star Webcast Network. So I thought that was kind of fun to see some of these.
That is the infamous blue screen.
The blue screen of death. And you don't know how terrifying that is until 40 million fans are watching it with you. So just some neat pictures from around the country of, oops.
I love it.
I've actually had experience with something like this where I go up to a touchscreen to check in for like a flight. And
oh, really?
It just bloop, bloop, blue screen.
Oh, everybody flies free? Is that what that means? No, that's just a fake one. That's kind of funny. This is just a signage fail.
Have you heard of like sometimes you can hack into these signs? They have built-in Wi-Fi.
Yes.
And you can go in there and change whatever text you want it to be.
Yeah, my buddy Kyle, one of the hosts from You Can't Breathe That on Television, he was a construction worker, and he obviously has no trouble getting around their LED board security protocols.
That's classic.
Yeah, aren't these just great? These are just
that's in the convention center in Seattle.
This is what the sign should be, and then this is what it
not Seattle, but
happens.
Toronto.
Gosh,
I like the one that was the I think it was from the Super Bowl. It had the edge signs around the edge of the sky boxes. His windows did not shut down properly.
You can attempt to repair.
There it is. Yeah,
that's at Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. That was Super Bowl, or no, was it Super Bowl or was it at Cowboy Stadium?
It's just at Cowboy Stadium.
Maybe it was both, but that's hilarious. Anyway, you can bring it back to the camera. I just wanted to kind of riff on that a little bit. That was kind of funny. No matter how much you have your stuff dialed in, the technology will screw you, folks. So just buyer beware. All right, that's all I've got for this this next segment. Up next, we're going to talk about, we're going to go to the new job board segment. I hope you guys enjoy this. It's something I think is going to be interesting for all of you out there. But first, we've got a little commercial break we're going to dip to, and we'll be right back after that.
Give your brand a new life, streaming to your target audience in the new media. Find unprecedented low rates and powerful longevity from unlimited views on demand. Genuine, cost-effective, and revolutionary. Advertise with the Lone Star and take your brand into the 21st century. To learn more, contact Ad Sales at FrontierTelevision.com for a free professional consultation.
All right. Scott, where'd you go? Jordan, what'd you do?
He disappeared.
All right. My co-host is on a pee break, apparently. So pro. So pro. But this is a new segment we wanted to bring to the show for all of you show techs out there and you freelancers who might be able to find some value of this. This is our survey around the industry of what is on the job board this week.
What?
The job board this week.
Yeah.
This week.
Get it. Get it.
The job board. There it is. All right.
With your wife a second ago.
Oh, goodness. Is she all right?
Yeah, she's doing okay. She said she's going to kill you.
I think we're making her mad tonight.
No, you did.
Okay.
Well, she's in there mopping the floor for some reason.
All right. Well, I got a background beat going. First up on the job board review this week, we've got Mandy.com is advertising a South by Southwest camera op position for a company known as What's Trending. They're paying $300 per day for a 5-day gig down in Austin for South by Southwest this year. They're asking Austin, Texas locals only to apply at whatstrending.com. The job hiring manager is Mike Dumin. Mike, D-U-M-I-N. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Thank you, Mike.
Mandy.com has got that listing. Production Hub is listing a part-time technical director for Maslow Media Group here in Dallas.
Where?
In Dallas, Texas, folks. They're looking for a director experienced with TriCasters and 4A Hanabi switcher.
TriCasters
I
are
know
really,
how to TriCast.
TriCasters are really great switchers. They're really they're a little expensive up front, but they're awesome.
They're not as good as my awesome Crashaholic Wirecast switcher, are they?
It's fine. I've seen big big production companies.
So
use
Jordan's
Wirecast.
going to be applying at Production Hub for the part-time TD at Maslow Media here in Dallas. Also on Production Hub this week, this is a cool one, Escape the Room. This is in Houston. Have you guys heard of this company?
Nope.
This is an interactive experience that basically puts willing participants into a Saw-like experience where they have to figure. It's not really that bad. Not really, I don't think it's really horror
It's not.
driven. But they're trying. It's like a game where you try to figure out how to get out of the space. It's interactive. It's very. It's a very new kind of entertainment thing. But they're looking for a set designer. They're hiring a lead set designer. The pay is $48,000 a year. If you're looking for a gig on that line,
That's not that bad.
It's not bad, but you have to build the sets yourself. So
and maintain them. Yeah, it's not an easy gig, but it sounds like a cool one for sure on
So
ProductionHub.com.
it becomes a full-time gig. So if you don't want to make any more money than that, go for it. But if you want to make more money,
Come work for the Showtech show, right, Jordan?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Jordan gets paid a lot of money for this. I'm surprised Lone Star Channel's not listed there because you're gonna be out of a job here
Lone
after
Star.
your wife kills
Let's
you.
see. Yeah, we're looking for a new host on the Showtech show. Dice.com has a listing for an AV tech for tech systems in Plano, Texas, here in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. They'll basically be responsible for end user support and maintenance. That's a promising position, not unlike what I'm doing now. Go check that out on Dice. And Indeed.com. Texas A&M University is searching for a tech manager at Reed Arena, if you can believe it, the newly renovated football stadium for the Fightin' Texas Aggies. They need somebody who can oversee lighting and audio and all the sorts of mass production necessary for Texas A&M University and their sporting events and special events. You can check that out on Indeed.com. And that's our job board for this week. Look forward to that segment every week here on the Lone Star Webcast Network and the Showtech Show. Up next, I want to talk about our friend Harvin Pham. He came on with us last week talking about his show pitch that he's doing. This is his travels around East Texas, talking to different folks from different strokes and learning how to do some interesting things in the self-reliance thread that's kind of core to our network mission here. You can check out his GoFundMe at gofundme.com//HDP
videos.
HDP videos. I'm an idiot. Anyway, want to throw that little plug out for him. He's a good dude, and I think this has got some
He's not a good
legs.
dude.
Oh, he's kind of evil. I'm
Read
hearing.
that.
I've got here in my earpiece. Scott, my co-producer, is telling me Scott Harvin is evil. Still should be some good content though. So throw some cash his way, and let's see if we can make this happen, people. Grassroots, all the way. You guys ready for our main topic tonight?
Sure.
Are you literally texting on your phone right now?
I am. I'm texting Harvin.
He's
I don't know if you know this, but we're actually doing an internet television show that he's watching right now. So if you
Yes.
wanted to communicate with Harvin, you could pretty much just say it.
I
Wait.
just did.
Yeah, don't say that. Okay. That's very good. Jordan, you're the best laugh track in the world, buddy. Woo! You got that bumper ready for our main topic?
it's rolling right now.
Getting paid. We're so off the rails tonight. So off the rails tonight.
It's going
So
on.
tonight, it is.
So if you people want to know what we're laughing at, go to frontiertelevision.com.
Go into the chat.
And click into the chat room.
Chat now. You got to watch the chat room. That's where all the magic happens. The television show is really just
All
side
two
show.
of you.
Well, that's the live audience, but most of our audience is dead. Getting paid, folks. Let's talk about some best practices for getting some cashola into your pockets, whether you're a freelancer or a part-timer or a full-time staffer. What?
So
Jordan?
I guess
Yeah,
I'll
talk.
start off with this real quick. And there I am.
There he is.
Doing all the work and stuff. You know,
Did that cut or dissolve?
it cut.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty positive.
Because he doesn't like dissolves.
I know.
Mr. Lower Third.
It sometimes like really.
Why don't you
does
just do your
dissolves.
job?
Okay, there, Scott.
Mike, Scott, back to you.
Thank you, Scott. Back to you. Right here. Yeah. So, I've had a really easy instance of getting paid. The biggest thing is getting paid within a certain amount of time. When you do a freelance job and you say, okay, pay me within 30 or 60 days, but then they don't pay you. And they're like, well, we're just waiting for the money to come in. We're just waiting for the money. And it's like, well, I need the money so I can pay bills. I got to put food on my table, bills and stuff like that. So, I mean,
Did you like my handle?
so I think, it's usually an invoice as in I just go to Microsoft Word and just type up an invoice and do it that way. I found a nice app that I can use on my phone, and it's called Toggle. And it's really simple to use. And you can actually, if you pay for it, I think it's like $5 a month, you can do it you can do billable from your phone or from the web and stuff like that. It tracks all your hours. It tracks everything for years. So I can look back 2 years ago and say, oh, I worked this date. And I billed y'all on this date. And it's, a cloud-based, so you're basically, all your hours are stored up on a cloud. But I have access with my phone. I just hit the start button when I start clocking in, and then hit stop when I clock out.
Huh, that's interesting. I was going to ask about the interface on that.
Yeah,
Something
it's
that's really light.
it's pretty simple. I use it quite a bit on myself. I have different projects and different clients, so I can have a different client. Have numerous clients and numerous projects assigned to those clients. So it's pretty simple to use. I enjoy it just to keep track of time, because I would like to know how much time I do spend on a certain project for me and for the clients. Like, hey, I spent 30 hours editing, this video for you, and I did 20 hours filming it or something like that.
That's
that way
absolutely,
it can help
very
you out a
huge.
little bit, and they can see, okay, so you really spend 30 hours here, and it's like it helps out when you clock in and clock out, because sometimes they'll get a question like, well, did you really do this work? And you're like, I clocked in. It's like, employers like to see when people clock in.
They
and
really
clock
do.
out.
That's something I've never really wrapped my head around, but the whole hourly tracking thing, that's very huge in industry. And especially if you're a post-production editor, I can very much see that being something that clients need to see.
Even if you're getting a day rate, say you're doing day rate 10 hours, I still would like to show them I did do work. Like, I did work this many hours for you and stuff like that. Even though, like, most of the freelance jobs that we do around here, it's a day rate of 10 hours, 12 hours, 8 hours, or half day rates, stuff like that. But it really helps out to show them hours for it.
So Toggle, that's available on the iPhone, I'm assuming?
iPhone and Android.
Oh my
and
goodness, Harvin.
Harvin,
Are you listening?
there, you can get it, and so can Richard.
Android.
It's TOGGL. That's, not TOGGLE, TOGGL. Pretty
But if
simple
you
to
search
use.
for it, I'm sure you'd find
Yeah.
it.
Now, I use QuickBooks Pro for all of mine.
Oh, cue the fancy pants music.
It's not fancy pants, but I have online. I've got my whole thing up in the cloud, so whenever I do hours, I just log it in on my iPhone.
You said doo-doo.
I said doo-doo.
That's cool. So yeah, that's a good way to
But
do
QuickBooks
hour
will do the
logging.
same thing.
I didn't realize that QuickBooks is a good tool for that too. I guess the point here is you need to have some kind of tools. If you're going to do this professionally, you can pencil whip it and you can write your own invoices and you can do everything all off the cuff, but you're going to have much better results if you have some sort of system, if you have some sort of accountability. Employers like to see that, especially employers with actual money. Pro tip.
So, like, for you, when do y'all usually invoice? That's another chapter to talk about invoicing. Do you wait a couple days to invoice? Do you, like, when you get home done with a project, do you invoice right there so that it's fresh on your mind that you're set to, because sometimes I have issues invoicing. Like,
Sure.
I get so busy and I'll forget about it, and then I forget to invoice clients.
Yeah, and that can
I'm
kill
feeling
you as a freelancer.
It
is
does.
forgetting
And
the
the issue that
invoice.
happens is, it's like, oh, I'm forgot to invoice them. It's 30 days, 60 days ago. It's like, what are they going to
Well, and not just that. If they get used to you not invoicing them for 10, 20, 30 days, then they think that they've got 60, 80 days.
Yeah, your net 30 just became a net 90,
Yeah.
folks, and you're going to be you're basically going to be financing somebody else's
I
production.
mean, we
out of
all
pocket.
know somebody who
No bueno.
who is very good at taking an invoice and 2 months
Putting that on
later
a maybe
going,
pile.
I'm
"Oh,
not
you
even
mean I didn't pay you for that? Well, we
I'm
got
not
a
even-
show next week.
yeah.
I'll give you some money if you come do it."
I'm not even talking about basically the client, procrastinating on pay. I'm
I
talking about-
invoice nightly. I go
Yeah.
home, I hit the button, it invoices. And that's the nice thing about QuickBooks is that I can do my hours while I'm at the venue. I can set my hours up, boom. As I'm leaving the venue, I'm clocking out on my phone. It's chewing on it at the computer back at the office. I just go in the office and press send.
So also we can talk about different subjects about credit card billing, charging the client with a credit card. There's different types of apps.
Does anyone else have
this-
a merchant account? Or am I the only one?
No, that's why I wanted you to talk about your merchant experiences.
With a Square reader and stuff like that, you can get.
Do you have that on your iPhone, or is that how you rock?
I actually use Intuit with QuickBooks Pro. I swipe. They take 2.3% off the top.
We should probably say QuickBooks Pro, not a sponsor, needs to be.
No,
clearly.
I only talk about the Intuit network because it's great for a small business, or it's great for you guys that are freelancers, because they don't charge a lot. You don't have to pay money to have the service, but it becomes quite easy.
That's nice. That's very sustainable. So if you're doing infrequent jobs, or if you're a couple months between
Infrequent
you're not
jobs.
paying for unused service. They take a piece of the payment, but not.
Say you
have
get a
background
client
fee.
that you don't trust anymore, you can actually swipe the credit card before
Nice.
going through, and it'll save you in the long run. It's cheaper to go that route than getting the merchant account. I had the merchant account for the past 2 years, and I finally dumped it. $14 a month gets expensive. Granted, I got all of the money that I was charging, but I was paying $14 a month for it. So
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
something.
that's-
The name of the game is all about minimizing those overhead expenses, and so if you can get rid of that and use one of
Because
these new
that stuff
digital
adds up
products,
over the time.
it does. Yeah, I mean, $14 it's $100 a year. I mean,
and that's really, that's where QuickBooks really got to me, because I used to do a sheet of gel here is not going to cost me anything. A sheet of gel there, 5 gobos isn't going to do anything. Well,
yeah, not having a system, you can really nickel and dime yourself out of a lot of cash if you're not paying attention to it.
this
So
past
definitely a
year
good
was the
idea.
first year that I was on QuickBooks 100%, and I ended up saving almost $7,000 in expendables.
Yeah.
Because now I'm actually able to track it.
Yeah,
You
how
know,
crazy
gaff
is
tape.
that? Yeah,
So,
you go back
I have
and
a
just
que- I
smack
have a-
yourself.
I have a question with QuickBooks. So QuickBooks, you can basically say you can do all your purchases that you made, your hours, and any expendables that you made.
Yeah.
Send that to the client, and then the client has a full list of everything. It's like, oh, this is how many
Yes.
hours he spent. This is how much we're paying for his hours. This is how much he spent on expendables, his hotel room, his food, and his purchase items. Like
And
for
what
when
I
the show
love
happened.
about it is you can say myself as a dealer, I pay $5 a sheet of gel. I charge $8 a sheet of gel.
you got to.
All of that is calculated in QuickBooks. Like it knows that I'm paying $5. It knows that I'm making $8. It figures out my profit margin, what I have to pay in taxes on the profit, blah, blah, blah. It's really the best system I found so far, especially when you get it. Why are you guys laughing?
I'm just reading the chat room. They're all like, "Aha! Scott exposed the secret markups."
Continue on though.
No,
This is
but you're right.
interesting,
No, this is good topic because
I would be interested in QuickBooks for freelance and stuff.
I think it's
you know.
I think it's the best thing for a freelancer because you can actually plug it into where your mileage is taken into account. You can bill your client for mileage.
Yep.
You can bill your client for hours. You can bill your client for expendables. Harvin's saying next.
Harvin, that subject is
Wrong
that
wrong
subject is
topic,
long
jackass.
gone
This
right
is
now.
next. This is the main topic, so you get to sit down and watch this and enjoy it, sucker. No, but it's very true. If you whether you use QuickBooks or another system or whatnot, the point is you need to have a system. You really need to do something professional where you can line item all these things. Not only does it make it more convenient for your client who's paying for these services, they can see exactly what they're getting. They can justify it to their bosses, to their finance department, whoever the corporate person is that's deciding to write that check for you. They've got this is a very legitimate way of getting the bill to them. It also helps you not miss things. Like you said, the $7,000 worth of line items, that's huge. That could almost pay for Jordan's salary for one night.
The other thing that
Well, we don't jack around here at the Lone Star. Yeah.
The other thing that I loved about it was the fact that I deal a lot with not-for-profit units, companies.
Okay. We call them units here on the
Units,
show.
whatever you want to call them. You can log them in as not-for-profits, and when it comes time to do
tax them, yeah.
Well, and that was the other thing that I went with QuickBooks is that it works with TurboTax. So when I do my taxes at the end of the season, all I have to do is load my QuickBooks file from my business, and it does all of my deductions. It does everything immediately. Boom. Here you go.
I think it's because it's all made by the same company, like
Yeah.
Intuit, Intuit TurboTax, Intuit QuickBooks.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes it pretty simple for a freelancer, especially somebody that is not good at record keeping, that's keeping papers and, filing stuff,
Yeah.
Because I'm honestly, when I was on the road, I kept receipts in a white envelope going around, but it was a pain in the butt. It's like, I was like, why can't I just scan this and take a picture of it, and then that way it's digitally stored on the cloud, and that way I don't have to worry about the hard copy paper receipt.
So the QuickBooks, there's an app, I assume, for their service.
I believe so,
that
for
you can
Android
instantly
and
capture
iOS.
those things. Yeah.
Yes.
I've been doing that for a while. I've been using an app called Cam Scanner that will allow you to take snapshots like that, and it kind of auto formats them, so you just basically can take it in your lap and it will crop it and auto fix it and everything. So it's a great PDF file, and you can put it. It will automatically put it to your Dropbox or whatever your system is. That's a good little app for capturing expense receipts, things like that, since we're on the topic. But yeah, you guys are way ahead of me talking about all the invoicing systems and billing and everything. The only thing I was going to bring up to the conversation was something that you see a lot on the web now called FreshBooks. It's a cloud-based service that basically does what QuickBooks does, but they've got, I think they've got some billing components where they will automatically generate invoices and email them to your clients, and then they'll send out 30-day reminders. They'll kind of dog them. Are you billing me for this?
Yeah, give me a credit card.
Yeah, right.
I'll show you how easy it
Look,
is.
I've already pissed off the wife enough
But
today. I don't think we need to put my credit card for this.
I will show you how easy it is, people.
You want to go stand next to the camera and show them? But
No, because it shows my account number.
wah wah. So
Do you think?
go ahead. Yeah.
I'm going to talk about another subject here because it's on our other list right now.
Okay.
Bitcoin, because that's kind of going to the new way of currency.
Yeah. Anybody ever thought about
Has
taking
anybody
bitcoins?
taking bitcoins?
Anybody? Chat room?
Anybody?
I mean, it seems like
Anybody?
it's a new.
That ought to tell you something.
What can bitcoins be used for? Like me being
Buying bitcoins, apparently.
What can you be used? Can you be used as currency right now?
Certain online.
it
I think
actually
Newegg,
is.
If you shop at Newegg.com, like a computer.
Newegg takes
They take Bitcoin. There's a lot of people who actually do. And
There's actually a couple of bars in Dallas that I've been to that had the Bitcoin logo in the window.
at the gay bar. Gay
Yeah,
bar.
buddy,
Gay
let's
bar.
go. I will show it to you.
I don't know if they're more prone to take Bitcoin or not, but yeah. So that's the point. I mean, if a merchant takes Bitcoin, then if you want to do business with that merchant, then you can take Bitcoin and
Bitcoin's just another credit card.
And basically, I think the federal government's recognized them as a currency now, so they're taxable. So there's no tax advantage to taking Bitcoin, but it's interesting if you're kind of one of those,
Hackers.
buy gold, buy now kind of folks. Then if you want to get off the dollar, You can do something more future-oriented, like Bitcoin. I really don't know enough about it to speak intelligently.
Me neither, and that's what
I don't know enough about anything to speak intelligently tonight, apparently. But
well, I don't know if Bitcoin's going to take off.
Yeah,
take off. I don't know. I don't accept it right now because
I think now you can take Bitcoin through PayPal.
yes.
Yeah.
So if you're a PayPal customer, you could theoretically take Bitcoin as a form of payment and then convert it into dollars and have that deposit.
I prefer cash.
I take PayPal. So
Yes.
I like the green, the cash, right there.
For
in
all
the
of Jordan's
hand.
video productions and sexual misconduct,
Yes.
he prefers cash.
I prefer cash.
Cash.
I'll do things for cash.
Well,
sorry.
weren't expecting that to come back out live, were you?
Damn.
Bump.
He's quick on
And
that.
so, yeah, we said Bitcoin. What about PayPal? Is that something anybody else is doing? You guys have PayPal merchant
I've
account?
used
My
PayPal
company
for eBay.
deals with PayPal.
Yeah, is that popular among your clients? Or?
Gosh, I think I get one, maybe two sales.
Yeah, if you're not an online
month.
deal, if you're not doing freaking eBay, I can't imagine that's a huge thing.
Well,
But-
and that's it's stuff that I'm selling on eBay that I get most of those people through. I mean, anyone can
those
pay.
old Source 4 engines you're not using anymore because you're converting to the LEDs.
No, you gotta make
If
your
you're not a
money.
viewer of the show, you should tune in last
Gotta
week's
make your
episode.
money.
Yeah, so I guess those are some good tips going around the board as far as let's review. Let's summarize. So it's all about track your time, track your expenses, track them accurately, invoice timely, cleanly, and
I would say, let's come back to the track everything. That's the most important thing. Track
Green's Chroma King. It's hilarious.
oops.
track everything because you don't know what you're gonna get money back on. You don't. In this business, it's your business. Your freelancing is your business, and you want to get as much money as you can, as much value as you can. So for us to come back, and say, "Oh, I'm just gonna let this dinner fade away." No, track that. You can get taxes
Don't let
back
it waste
on
because
that.
it will add up for sure. Scott would like to now talk about gaff tape.
Gaff tape.
Breaking news here on Lone Star. Go ahead, Scott.
$23 a roll,
Getting expensive.
That's a good point.
and I can use an entire roll on a show. You must get the money for your expendables. It is imperative anymore because things have gotten so expensive. $23 for that.
For this?
For that.
Amazing.
Give that shit back. You ain't taking my gaff. Here, you can have your cheapo gaff that you like.
All right, so that's enough for our...
Look at that shiny ass crap.
Hey, look.
Hey,
Works for
I
me.
hate that gaff. I hate shiny gaff.
I hate shiny gaff.
Oh, what are you, like, a theater tech?
I like the matte finish.
The matte finish.
So what else do you want to talk about today?
That's all I had, but I did want to talk about your mugs again, Scott. Tell us
He's
about
got some
Dave's
nice
Sound.
mugs. He got some
This
nice
guy's got some
mugs.
nice mugs.
He
I got
some
mugs,
nice
man.
mugs.
I got mugs. People, if you are looking for a gift
You gotta love
for
my
your
mugs.
director, your set designer, your costume designer, your actor, your sound engineer, any of them, we have these gifts right there.
Take that stuff full screen, Jordan. We don't need our mugs on the way. In front
There
of these
we
mugs.
go.
We don't need our mugs in front of these mugs. Whoa,
I just
that was ghosty.
Look at
hey,
that
no, that was
stagehands
for Beam Me
directors.
Up, Scotty. That was for Live Long and Prosper.
Yes.
All of it is there. And these are great opening night gifts for people. Plus, if you really like what Davis
are.
Lighting
That's
Designs does, we have our 2 t-shirts down at the bottom.
The bottom of the screen, not that far down.
There you go.
But yeah, these are really funny
Websites.
mugs. These are some cute little show tech quips that you might find. They're at Zazzle.com/DaveSound. That's DAVSND. Scott Davis Lighting Designs, formerly Davis Sound, apparently. But still, they hold up.
Cool shirts.
These are
Yeah,
good. They're good shirts.
It's like roadie
Everybody
shirts.
needs
I
some
mean,
roadie rags.
I like getting roadie shirts, so it's cool.
Yeah, man, it's really sad that roadie rags went away. So
Yeah,
Scott's
me
the
too.
last bastion of hope for all you people who don't need...
But we should design.
Hell.
Yeah, my wife keeps walking by the door and I'm just terrified. Terrified. So let's wrap up tonight's talking points.
Are you sure you
on-
want to do that? Because if you go to bed, you may not come back.
This guy knows.
I've been married 15 years.
So tonight on the Showtech Show, we're talking about getting paid. And
Not getting laid.
getting
Getting
paid.
paid with
Clearly
the
not
P.
getting laid.
Clearly.
Obvious.
Because none of us are.
No.
Well,
My wife's pretty mad. Jordan, it's your birthday, but sorry, bro. And Scott, that shirt's not helping anybody. So it's keying out, for the love of God.
Dude, you are just so digging a hole.
My producer has some notes for me. Come on in, Sheena. Oh, come on. There's nobody watching.
Come on,
Sheena.
in. It's all right.
Nobody can see this. It's the internet.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
nobody
there's
watches
nobody
us.
watching.
Come on.
It's us and Harvin. Possibly a YouTube audience of millions. Come on in. Come on in.
No, come. Here, I'll get the note for you.
All right. So we're talking about getting paid. I try to find an edit point here.
Yeah.
That has a lot to do with Showtech Show.
Says I'm sleeping on the couch tonight.
He sleeps on the couch every night.
Yeah, I'm lazy.
With the dog Bella.
With the dog Bella.
No way. She can have the cage.
Did you clean up those paw tracks you left in there?
Did you clear the paw tracks?
Why would you look at her?
We were going to clean it. We were gonna
Oh my
clean it
gosh!
because we let the dog
You're the one
out.
that let the dog in.
Who let the
She's the one
dogs
who wanted
out?
the dog in the first place.
Oh, this is going to be a good night.
Scams.
So, if you want to watch later on this evening, we'll have the after hours video up. It should be good.
Oh, really? Look at you.
I saw her face as she walked away. You are so in the doghouse, my
let's
friend.
enjoy this final segment on the Showtech Show, and I do mean final. We're talking about when you're
final.
getting. What are some scams you need to watch out for? Not
Apple products.
Apple products.
Oh God.
Yes, the newest microbrew from Apple is not what Steve Jobs would have wanted.
I don't know. I think the scams are when they want to underpay you. You know, they're just like.
Talk about some ways of being underpaid, because nobody's going to sign up for a job that they're being underpaid for. So there's got to be some disclosure
there
problems.
There is though, because I think that you're getting a lot of college students out. I hate to brand college students. People that are not like green. I'll call it greenhorns. You know, they're very new to this business, and they're like, they might a client might come and it's like, oh, we'll pay you $250 a day. You know, and you're like, oh, $250 a day. That's pretty good.
It's hookup money.
Compared to like what, like I would charge like $500 a day, and I was like, and you're putting us out of business almost. And that's, you know, for a camera op and for for Scott for lighting and stuff like that. You know, he'll charge $800 a day, but then you'll get somebody like, well, I can do that for $150 a day, thinking that's a great deal. And it's like, you know, you're hurting the industry.
Anymore, they just hire their teenage son who doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
I've always questioned the hurting the industry argument. I think that we've got, as artists, we've got to be more robust than that to worry about people coming in and underbidding us. Like, I, for one, have never competed on price. That's been my go-to, is like, somebody can underbid me all day long. And you know what? You can have them, because they're not going to be me. And I'm okay with that. I have a problem with admonishing people for coming in lower, because there's always going to be somebody who does it. Either they're too stupid to realize they could make better money, or they know they're going to screw the client, and the way they get the job is by charging less. I think we just let the market bear that out, because it's never going to work out well for people if they pay too little for what the service is worth.
I have that big, huge saying, never...
It's a huge saying.
Never give in. Never give in. Keep your standards. Keep your standards. Keep your quality.
Yeah.
I charge the price that I charge because that's what I'm worth.
Yeah.
If you want the best, come hire the best. If you don't, there's other guys out there cheaper than me. There's guys cheaper than you, cheaper than him.
Yeah.
There's probably not guys cheaper than me, because I'm not that great. But
Well,
yeah, by all means.
we kind of figured that out
I think
tonight.
that's what I'm saying. Is at all points, just charge what you're worth, and there's always going to be somebody. You want there to be somebody who sucks more than you, so that they charge less. But you want the client who chooses them to see the value of, oh, that wasn't that great. Next time I'm going to spend a little bit more. And then when somebody does choose you, because you're at that right price point, whatever that right price point is, kick ass. Go out and do a great job, and then they'll be like, yeah, that was perfect. It was a good value for what I paid.
How many shows have we done together where one of us has stood up for keeping the quality.
Yeah.
And for some of us, it cost me jobs. It's cost, well, he sucks up to everyone. It's cost you jobs.
I don't really consider those jobs that it's cost me, though. Just, I'm a very, I guess I take a very Jewish stance about it all. It's like, I always consider myself to be self-employed.
I mean, the minute that Harvin and I left the one show that we were all doing together, did the quality of the lighting go down?
Yes.
Of course.
Did the quality of the product go down?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was the client happy with that?
Probably not as. I don't think they were getting a big pay cut for that either.
And that's
They were getting a good
well,
price drop.
and once again we're dealing with what I call third-party jobs, because the client didn't actually hire us; they
Right.
hired somebody
When you're a
else, and we were brought
subcontractor,
in.
it's a different
Yeah.
situation altogether. So sure.
It's to this day, Johnny High's daughter calls me up and asks me about coming back.
Does she?
I think these are important things, though. That if you build on the quality, and you live by quality,
Yeah. I
people
agree.
will recognize that, and they'll move forward with you.
I'm working full time now for a company, and I'm still at the point now where they will tell me to do something like, we can't afford to do this show, but I want you to do it. I will tell my bosses no, full well knowing that I'm probably going to get fired if I do that too much. But because I don't want to ever take my personal career to a point where I'm putting out a subpar product, I don't want to put my name on something that's bad. And ultimately, I know my client doesn't want that, whether or not their finance department realizes it. But I mean, and quick sidebar, the $23 a roll gaff tape, that was good enough to cover up the...
God, that sounds like
that's a great pour.
Go on.
Cool and refreshing. Red's Apple Ale.
well, we just
I mean-
branded.
Dude, it's just apple.
Not Red's Apple
We just branded. Yeah, I'm willing to say that. Hey,
Thank
mine
you,
did-
Scott.
I'm willing to say that I'm willing not to settle or to lower my standards to make a few extra $100.
It's not my
I-
job to lower my standards.
No, it's your job just to be
It's
you.
my
and be
job
great
to
at
be
it.
me. If the guy that I'm working for has sold these people on being dirt cheap, and that's fine, well and good. As long as you're paying me my money, you know that you're going to get the same quality that I give everyone.
Yeah. You get hired on quality. You never get hired on price. No matter, I don't know. You'll never get hired because you're cheaper than somebody else. That's probably not accurate. You will get hired once,
Yeah.
but that is no way to make a living.
Unless you're the owner's son, then you've got it
and then I
pretty
would say-
freaking easy, don't you, buddy?
And we're also leading up to scams to avoid on getting paid. I would say this is not to invest money into the client when he promises a return. Yeah.
Yeah, don't go too deep out of pocket.
Yeah,
No.
don't say, hey, spend the money on hotel rooms, the whole trip and everything, and I'll reimburse you back. Say, hey,
Yes,
you're
that's a dangerous one.
You
Hey,
got to
go ahead and buy those 5 moving lights, and we'll reimburse you for it. When no,
No, you set your guidelines. You set your guidelines saying, "Hey, you can have me, but you you pay for my hotel, you pay for my food, you do a per diem per day. That's coming out of your pocket. I'm not going to submit all the stuff reimbursed back to you, and hopefully that you'll get it back in return."
And most of the scammers, the minute that they hear the word per diem, they walk away. They do, because
yeah,
they know
per
that they know that that's untaxable money that does not have to be accounted for.
And now you're mainly talking about working as subcontractors in that situation, right? Not
Well,
necessarily.
not necessarily, because like when I was with Megas Productions, I was a full-time employee and I still received per diem. So no, it's not the same thing.
I guess that's true. Yeah, you're working directly for them. So yeah.
Yeah, it's anytime you're traveling, per diem seems to be a fact that comes in, and per diem's a great thing for those of us that travel. But
For sure. Yeah.
you also have to remember that when we're out traveling, it's a different world.
Well, now some situations you you might get the per diem built in some situations you might not. So your rates got to be higher to accommodate that, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
but then you kind of get into the situation of financing your own travel and lodging and stuff like that. That's dicey.
And that's stuff that
So you might
you
require
all-
a deposit or something like that if this is going to be a big ticket to get your bot.
It started the one person that we've traveled with had to pay 50% up front with me.
Yeah.
Because it got to the point of he never paid. I mean, he just never paid. I would go and do 2 shows, he'd pay just fine, and then the 3rd show would come along, and 5 months later, I'm calling an attorney to have a lien put on him.
And that's no good. You probably, once you get into a combative situation like that with a client, they're blacklisted. You don't want to put yourself in that situation again, even if they had the best of intentions and all the excuses in the world. You just can't, as a professional.
The second legal incident with him ended all relationships between us, and that was fine with me. But in the end, that's what you got to watch
gave him
out.
like a 2 strikes kind of thing.
Yeah, I was nice enough to go back because one of my friends talked me into
it's
going
good.
back. I don't know who that was.
It's good not having clients like that. You know, it's good to let things
Yeah, it
go
was you.
because it's good not having clients like that. Like when clients are basically pulling your hair out
Come
and
on
then
down
you're
to
getting stressed out,
Fredericksburg.
you're getting gray-haired and stuff like that. Then Fredericksburg was nice. I don't know what to say.
I don't know. I would have done that one for free.
Hey, Fredericksburg was almost worth it being free.
It was the best side of some people's lives.
Well, let's.
You got to see how clean the toilets were at the Holiday Inn. I was very proud of you for that.
very
Thank you for
blurry.
inspecting those before I went and sat down.
Fredericksburg will come up on every show. We pledge
Yes,
that
it
to
will.
you as host of the Showtech Show.
Please go to the Red Baron in Fredericksburg.
That is a sponsor we could use.
That is a sponsor we could do every week. Thank you, Red Baron, for getting us back to our hotel.
All right, Jordan, go ahead and start playing us out, and we'll tee up next week's show. But absolutely, that's a. We should get Red Baron to be on our sponsor list. That'd be hilarious.
We should go down there.
We should do a live remote.
We should do a remote.
Oh, I would so do that.
Let's do it.
Coming soon to the Showtech Show. We're coming to you live from Fredericksburg at the Red Baron
Baron
Country
Bar.
Bumpkin Bar.
Yes,
Where Jaeger shots are apparently way too affordable for Showtech.
Let me get a weekend off, and guess what? We will head down there. We'll take the kids with us and a babysitter, and
There you go.
and rock it out so that Sheena can have a weekend off. How's that sound?
Man, she'd go for that full shizzle. Join us next week on the Showtech Show. We're going to be talking about copyright and how it applies to artists and producers and what.
And I have a full segment on how designers need to be protecting themselves with copyright.
Damn. Anyway, join us next week. That was awful. We'll see you next week on the Showtech Show. Thanks for watching us once again.
Bye-bye, guys.